Hey guys, welcome back. He's Commander Cockins.
He is Captain Foley.
And today we're taking you on a journey to a place called Shangri-La.
Oh.
Or is it a ship? Is the ship taking us somewhere that's not Shangri-La? Is Shangri-La the ship?
Otherwise known as the Titan.
Well,
OG.
I mean,
If
this is,
you look at all the material. Savik's Titan / Shangri-La / Bill Krause's legendary model from a way back that we looked at when it was literally brand new a long time ago. Yeah. Funny how we've outlived the stuff's catched up with us. Well, or Bill. Star Trek Online has done an anniversary bundle of TMP ships, and because of course they Picard Season 3 team saw the Shangri-La TMP and said we want that as the Titan 24th century, and then that made that canon, and then they included this in the briefing room and impression design, which then sort of makes it mostly kind of ish canon, mostly kind of backdate, and now Stowe can put it in no holds bar in the game and you can play it right now. So we're going to really look at it with their model, all nice materials, all nice up, and the now officially licensed playable version of said ship. We've seen it, we know it. Here is of course its calendar, obviously beautiful. What any initial thoughts on Shangri-La before we jump in the new 3D that you can play now?
just that I got the honor to see this years ago at Wonderfest, and we've also done a video with Bill Krause a number of years ago. So go check that out if you haven't already, talking about this before it was the Titan, before Bill Krause was working on Star Trek. So I really like it. I think it's an original take on a motion picture era design, even so much so that it's not just cut and paste nacelles. He designed his own, which is a nice touch and didn't have to do necessarily, but I think really kind of streamlines things. So I think he's a very super creative guy. I'm glad that was kind of recognized, you know?
Yeah, and for me, its design is a same but different, but with a bit more of that speedboat sexy feel. Because it is just a Connie refit, but with that sense of a few years have passed. If this was a literal continuation, this be Connie Mark 6, right? We've sleeked out as things have progressed. Everything's more efficient, quicker, faster. And we can make more design choices that reflect that, while still being fully in the era. And you can certainly see them both together, looking nice. But let's look at the 3D. So here it is in 4K, Stuart, just for you. What do you think of seeing how they've done the model?
I think it looks way nicer in the motion picture era, colors and style, than it does in Picard. It looks good. I'm glad. This is how it should look, yes. Yeah, it looks really good. I think the STU guys did a fantastic job with this.
Although the nacelles look a lot more refitty than I think you alluded to at the start, because they are just refit looking with some tweaks. They don't feel new. Bigger, bulkier, reproportioned, but all the stuff's there, right?
Well, yeah, that's one of the great things about them.
I wonder if in different views they'll feel different. There's a second set of grills at the front, which I really like. Proto-Bassards, which you can make Bassards and refit it once again.
Moving to the next picture, we got the shot from the back, which shows the impulse engines, which I think are much larger on the Titan. I think they've changed some of the shapes back there.
We'll have to compare someday. Now we can.
Yeah. It's a little overkill impulse-wise, even on this version, but it doesn't really bother me. I think it looks quite interesting. Yeah, the details on the shuttle bay as well. The landing deck, I think, looks fantastic.
Reminds me of slightly of the other Titan of Sean Turnjo's having the extended landing bay.
Oh, yeah.
Just that little bit, right? But it does balance out the shapes a little bit for whatever reason. And I'm wondering, looking at this, if the shuttle bay doors are less angled and they're slightly more flat, which therefore gives more space in front of them. So I feel like the normal refit are more curved or angled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I like that sort of truncated. It feels more space saving, which is actually good because you could use the space for other things.
I never really noticed this before, and I've looked at this model a lot, even in person. The back of the saucer with the cutouts, with the way those blue sections are, it feels like little chicken wings, like little tiny de-feathered chicken wings. It's got that kind of look to it.
Bill just dropped his coffee while watching this.
We love you, Bill.
His favourite mug, Stuart. God darn it. Yeah, no, yeah, the impulse engines look great. I mean, that's one of the most standout. Obviously, the source of cut-ins very much like inspired by, I'm sure, the Intrepid from NX, etc., but with a lot more cool stuff. By using the amazing blue of the TMP era, it all flows in a detailed way that's not flat. Had it been just the grey, maybe okay, but it feels structural, feels intentional, feels if that's an engineering hull segment and or can be swapped out. Right? It implies something that I think goes beyond. Also, because the impulse engines are so recessed, yes, they are radically more compared to the refit, but those are so vulnerable that I'm wondering if this is not so much about having 4 powerful nacelle impulse engines, but having 4 with full redundancy and the protective nature of having the full shell. And probably you could argue having the shell around them means they're less efficient because you've got to push, like they're going to be hitting the edges. They're not going to be going straight out that efficiently. So maybe they have to be lower powered impulse engines to not burn the edge. I mean, you can see how the interactive lighting is hitting. There's some possibility of burn, I would think. But by having them maybe 4 weaker ones and then redundancy, you're able to have a lot more flexibility, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Good placement for torpedo launchers. Nice and kind of subtle, but nice. Lovely curves in and out of the bridge. Is the bridge dome higher in that entire segment? I feel like it is.
I think it is, yeah. It definitely gives that vibe.
But just because it's all curved more. Like there's more layers and each layer is slightly thicker, potentially. But no, the way it all curves together is just absolutely lovely. It just feels like an engineered piece versus a kit bash or a connected piece. And often in CG you have a thing where people just put pieces together and there's an intersect point and it feels like they're intersecting, because they are just going through each other. Here, each segment feels like a distinct component designed on top of the other. That doesn't always happen, so well done for them for that.
I think the reason that's the case, too, is this was a physical built model, scratch built. So when you're building a physical model, it's different than just doing, like you said, the 3D model where you can intersect planes like that. So I think that might contribute to that kind of feel for this.
Like, it's subtle, but I know how it would feel the other way. It doesn't have that effect. Next view, classic Underside. I'm sure you'll recognise this from the Star Trek Picard Season 3. Feels more detailed than the Titan. The deflector has a lot of punch, the way it's recessed, the amount of glows, all the impulse crystal detail. That all has a lot of tech behind it. The Titan doesn't really have, as far as my memory proceeds, because of course the Reef era has base greebling and there's sort of structural greebling, and this kind of keeps that. Yeah, it feels good.
There's a lot of detail going on on this bottom shot. It's interesting that he put the impulse crystals at the bottom. There's none on the top. They're on the bottom, which I think is an interesting idea. And the details all in that neck section, they don't feel too much. They feel kind of just right. Even so much that it's similar to the Enterprise saucer-wise, but they got cutouts now with windows that are flat windows. I think is really a fantastic idea. Yeah, there's so much that's similar here at first glance. And the more you look, the more you realize that, there's been tweaks done.
We often say same but different. It feels the same, but actually the design element is craftedly rearranged and yet kept it whatever. I'm intrigued by the thing in the neck, the curved bubble. I mean, it can't be a torpedo launcher because that's not what they look like.
At the front there, yeah.
I assume a tractor beam emitter, which is, I don't know. I mean, I what else could it be? It's not a torpedo launcher, so what else would it be?
Well, the thing is, in Star Trek, that could be a lot of things. Like I said, tractor beam emitter, some kind of probe thing, maybe. I don't know.
I've never consciously thought about that detail in any view version of this ship. No. So I wonder if it's just been added here, maybe as a Star Trek Online hardpoint, and it's not intended to the design. I don't know if you ever remember seeing it. You've seen this design. Do you remember seeing that before?
No, I actually have a small 3D printed one, and I go take a look. I don't think that detail would be on it, though.
And in fact, interestingly, I had mentioned this, we just filmed on about the Theseus, but underneath the cutout, there's 2 big doors with lights. Theseus needed them badly to exactly what I sort of said. Your take, exactly right. That's a very well detailed back bit that is missing on the other one. Sure, inspired that to the other one.
I do like the addition too of the 3 photon torpedo launchers in the front of the saucer in this design. Gives it quite an aggressive look, though, from the front. I gotta say, I think the ship is so much squatter than the Enterprise refit that it makes more sense to have torpedo launchers there than in the neck, like the refit. So
the other last thing I'll say for this view is that I'm intrigued by the distinct cut-ins with windows in the saucer, underneath the saucer. They feel more E-like. Very much a choice. I'm guessing those are specialist rooms to make such a deliberate design choice. I'm guessing they're special negotiation briefing rooms for delegates to have a beautiful view of the planet, because you don't randomly cut in the hull without them being important, right?
yeah, that was funny. Negotiation room right above a phaser bank.
They don't see it.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, yes, it could be for phaser control, because that union really fought to get some, we want windows in our phaser control. So there's a sofa there, and because you're right, in theory the phasers could also be connected, but you could probably have it like there. Next view though, back, bottom, yeah, it looks elegant, looks different, looks interesting. Never noticed before, but in the winglets at the back of the saucer, RCS thrusters. It helps have interactive lighting, but it's all RCS thruster based, which is interesting. I never noticed that before.
Yeah, this view's nice, but this is where I really feel like the saucer should just not have those cutouts at the back. Kind of loses something from this angle. And we've talked about that many times before. Why would you choose to cut pieces out of your saucer? Because that's so much internal real estate that you're giving up. The strut design here really stands out. You've got the kind of the way it sweeps back in. It doesn't have to do that necessarily. Like, most people would probably just design it to do, so I think it looks a lot sturdier and feels a lot more cohesive the way it is.
Well, it flows with some of the overall bulk of the design in certain elements, like the way it's been bulked out, not necessarily bulky. So that fits with, we want redundancy. And probably it was designed originally straight, and it didn't, as in straight angled, it wasn't quite working. This gives it a certain something. I will say that I'm once again missing windows in the lower secondary hull. There's just an absence of windows.
A lot of phaser banks, though. And
wow.
We also have 2 drop shuttle bays, 1 and 2 at the back there, which are an interesting idea.
And a good amount of cutout, which looks good.
Yeah.
No, it's a good view. I like it. But let's see, does it hold up? And you've seen this physically, you've held it physically, the small one, orthographically of the official license model. What do you think?
I think it looks fantastic. I didn't realize that it's actually missing the registry on the top there, but
these models have slight flaws.
But no, the shapes all look great. The cutouts look good from the top and the bottom, I think. I don't know. Personally, I would have maybe extended the nacelles out a tad. Just a small little bit, but it doesn't feel proportionally wrong or anything the way it is. I just think it might look more interesting having them kind of a little bit wider apart. But no, I really think this looks fantastic. Again, lots of detail on the bottom, because you got the deflector and then you got the 2 impulse crystals, which is kind of an interesting eye-catching sight from the bottom. Yeah.
Well, the top is all about the angles, the curves, the integration. The bottom is, let's shovel the tech in the bottom. But that works. You understand the disparity of living area, working area, and then all the stuff that makes the ship go. That makes sense. Yeah, it fits well. Yeah, I didn't expect the nacelles to be so pulled in. It almost feels as if they're literally like pulling in the wings, like they're doing this. It's not bad. It actually gives it a very distinct, the other views, a very distinct tight formation feel, but I didn't expect them to be that pulled in. I thought it would be more standardized.
From the other angles, you can't tell. You can't see that. It all works so well. But
no, it's well proportioned. Yeah, I love the blues here. I love the saucer cutouts. Just they're again intentionally designed. There's something nice there, and I'm glad they're not just impulse engines because of the angle. They're RCS. They're there to give it extra maneuverability and punch. I get it. Cool. Yeah, nice. But let's see if the other views hold up. I mean, I think we know the side view. We've seen it before. In many a thing, and it's very tighteny. No wonder. But the front and the back, not the best front or back. The secondary hull is not doing it any favors, probably.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it from the side either, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Bill. I mean, it looks good in like 3/4 views and stuff like that. The side looks a little bit too bulky, but it's so well done on the other views that you can't tell. I don't know.
Well, as we keep disclaiming, this is not a view you can really do even with the human eye. Flat views so these are unique views. I think the top of the side, just looks like the refit with some stuff added, but has all exact proportions. Like, it all feels to me like the refit, just with some added stuff, which I think is a success. I think the front and back end, things you never see, really out of proportion. The steering wheel feels super out of proportion. All the angles feel a bit wonky. Even the saucer feels thicker than I was expecting. But that's not the view that's important, right? And it clearly has a more oomph feel from a view that works. This happens to be a view that is, oh, okay. So no points taken off of that.
No, not at all.
Although I'm slightly confused, quote unquote confused. You got the 3 torpedo launchers, fine, in the front. Then you got 2 cutouts either side. I was expecting something to be in them, but they're just a pointy bit of hull without a purpose, apparently. I don't understand. Just why wouldn't they be either not cut-ins, or I don't like shoulder blades there, but that's the logical thing to do, or not have torpedo launchers there in the middle and have them either side of a normal saucer? Why is there just 2 pointy hull pieces?
There's probably a reason.
Probably.
If I know Bill, there's probably a reason.
It feels artistically right.
Yeah.
And you
Cut
could have
this
actually
part
had
out,
windows either
editing
side and
down.
had like really cool.
But if you notice on the back view, all the reds are shifted to the
You
right.
could have done that, right?
The next shot is the classic, hey, how's it going? Coming to visit you shot. I like the details that are on the bottom of this thing. I really do. Even the subtlety of those things at the front of the bottom of the saucer, which are cargo doors or something. They're not as smooth as the saucer. They stick out. I like it. It's got an inset blue ring, very similar to the Excelsior, but then also the cut-ins for the windows. Like, there's a lot going on here, but it all kind of works. So
I will say, and we've just done a few of these sorts of ships, right? I would not say this feels aggressive.
no.
Okay. I think
there's 3 photon torpedo launchers.
but that's not where I goes though. But but because I think there's so much blue, which obviously highlights a different feel. There's so many cut-in elements that are not about aggression, they're about this or that. That all just kind of feels medium in aggression, which I think is good. I like this. I was expecting more aggression, so I'm giving it a good pass there. But yeah, it gives it an interesting, different feel. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of under details.
The thickness of the neck is quite noticeable here too, which you don't really get a sense of in the other views. And there's that round thing in the middle again, which is weird.
It is weird. But I talked, last picture of the orthos, how the secondary hull feels too big. Here, fits right in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably because the neck's been extended. If the neck was a more classic neck, that would feel like a chunky boy secondary hull. But they've mitigated both to both blend. Views change your look, right? Yeah, classic. Next view, though, is the back. I don't know why I associate this ship more with these sorts of back views, seeing this flow. For me, I think this looks really nice.
Yeah, this is where the cut-ins really work very well, because the nacelles kind of fill in that space.
Yeah,
and it's
true.
It's very slick and cool.
Integrated together.
Yes, yeah. I was just about to say, this feels almost a little over-designed, where the simplistic nature of the refit is just simple. It's the Matt Jeffries, simplicity.
Well, it's taking the overall good heavy cruiser, which is pretty good at everything, and shifts it to a functional, we need this, and this checklist, and they do things to do that. Clearly, impulse engines are a big thing. Movability RCS thrusters, which are a lot of RCS thrusters. I'm guessing more efficient warp profile, given why the nacelles are in. So those are the reasons why, and my brain sees them. Works for me. But the last view, sort of classic refit-esque kind of, definitely has more angular feeling here. That highlights the cut-in angles, the way the pylons feel more angled now. It's good, but a bit more angled.
And again, the nacelle or the saucer cutouts here look fantastic. Again, the the angles of the nacelle, like the front of the nacelle, blend with the angles of the cutout to make it really kind of feel cohesive. Yeah, yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely been designed.
Yes,
And that's the advantage of someone who took their time, who thought about it, who probably all the small details worked with. Yeah, looks nice, looks good. I look forward to seeing it in motion in various things because it is a, welcome to can be played by people. Shangri-La / Titan.
yeah. Well, can't wait to see an NCC 1777, which is Savik's Titan, at some point.
And if you want to go get this, go get it in game right now. It's available for part of the bundle. Have fun living your best Shangri-La life.
And make sure that you comment down below what you think about this design, whether you have it in game or if you're going to be getting it. We want to hear all the things. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and make sure you click the notification bell icon so you don't miss any content.
And if you want to support what we do here, please do. We need that support. We love the support, and thank you in advance. You can support us monthly via Patreon every month, even $5, $10, whatever you can. That absolutely helps. Or join the channel on YouTube, same thing, but on YouTube, or one-time donation at PayPal, Trekyards@hotmail.com, or super chat on our live. Put your literal $5, but figurative 2 cents in, and put your thoughts across, change the conversation, add your own logic. If you design the ship like Bill, or if you design a ship like Bill, you can come and say, hey, my ship does that. Right? It's a free form discussion with you, amazing people, and it helps us out as well.
That's right. So until next time, he is Commander Kraken.
He's Captain Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.